I'm Divine Kika. And this
I'm
is
Dylan Stewart.
My name is Sean Stewart.
It's not a coincidence that there's two Stewarts here. We're actually brothers.
And I'm in the middle, and I'm so excited because I just spent the weekend with these guys, and they're amazing. And we were at the Experts Academy, and we were having these awesome conversations about power, love, freedom, and excitement. I said, okay, my audience wants to hear it. And then he goes, my audience wants to hear it, and my audience wants to hear it.
It's so an
here we
important
are.
topic.
You know, it's really crucial. We're talking about how to really awaken the inner voice that you have and unleash who you're meant to be on this planet. Awaken your authentic voice, as we've called it.
Yeah, you know, it's ultimately about how do you show up as your whole self in the world, because so many times people are compartmentalized. We show up as a version of ourselves where there's these shadow sides of us that are hiding. And so what is it like to actually show up as who you really are in the world, in the public sphere, and actually express your true self and the power that's behind that?
You know, I've been on this journey, and I've just been coming out of my shell more and more and more, and really stepping into who I believe I've put on this planet to be. And in this event, it was a great opportunity for me to show the work that I've been doing and step into myself, because I think, like all of us, I've got my own inner voices that go on that tell me things that are not true and that keep me from stepping up, because in the back of my head, I'm afraid that I'm not good enough, I'm not accepted, I'm not wanted.
Hi, Rhiannon. Hi, Rafael.
And by taking that step into really trusting and loving what you're bringing and owning your value, I was able to change how I was perceived by others at this event and how others perceive me, and really step into something powerful. And so that's the conversation we were starting. We wanted to take it to the next level with you all here.
And I think a big part of being in our power is being authentic and being able to be vulnerable at the same time. And authenticity, Nityananda describes it as when we can be the way we perceive ourselves, the way we want to be perceived, and the way that people perceive ourselves are all one. There is no separation. And that takes authenticity in all levels. Means you can't do your little meditation and be here and there and pray, and then, okay, in the morning I do my meditation and I'm a spiritual self, and then I go to work and then I'm my business person, and then I come back to life, I'm the husband. You are the same being everywhere, and you need to show up as a powerful being, vulnerable, loving, caring, and powerful all at once.
This can be so hard, really, when you're, especially in the masculine, because the compartmentalization that we do as men says that work is over here, and family's over there, and relationship is over here, and all these things are so separate. And as a result, we have this tendency to wear these different masks, these different hats as we walk through our day, and it's super inauthentic, and everybody knows. The woman you're in a relationship with, the man you're in a relationship with, he knows when you're faking it. And then when you're at work and you're not showing up and you're not owning yourself, there is a real you. And then there are all these phony yous that you put on, these masks you put on every day, and they just don't serve you and serve your purpose. Not only that,
they add work.
Yeah.
Because then you have to work hard to be that different person.
And remember who that different person was.
Yeah, and then if you just relax and you're fully present, you give your full attention to what you're doing and try to enjoy what you're doing. Actually find the joy, find this space that I'm fully here, fully present, and then you can face whatever is there. It's easier.
And
it seems harder, but it's easier.
You know, the worry about how people are perceiving you, letting that go and sort of falling into a place where you accept you, where you start to say, you know what, I'm okay with who I am, flaws and all, whatever it is, I love me, right? And we get to this place where it's like, I love me. And as we start to love ourselves more, it's almost like our body sort of seeps into the ground, we become grounded. And when we become grounded, then what happens is that miracles start to emerge. And when Kika and I were experiencing this, where we had this moment where we were going through stuff at this event, different moments. I think both of us were experiencing emotions that were taking us out of the present moment. Mm-hmm. And then there was this time where it was like we both locked in, and it happened sort of, we both kind of got there at a similar moment, and we kind of crossed this threshold. And then we went out to eat. And we had this, it was funny because we started by going up to this group of women who were sitting at this table, right?
Right.
And they were like, we were like, can we sit with you? And they were a little bit like, Yeah, it was strange, but they were okay with it.
Like sit but not sit.
Yeah, it was like they were. And but
sit here, but do not do that.
Yeah, we followed through, and you know, it
We're
actually.
like,
They were like, you know, we gotta go, and they sort of got up and left. And we were like, we had taken this initiative to start a relationship to connect with these other women who were at the event. And suddenly we were kind of dissed, and they left, and we were kind of left on our own. But we were in our power, though. So what happened?
We were actually happy to have a moment to connect and talk to ourselves and actually rest, right? And we were like, okay, let's be present to what it is now, and let's just. And that was kind of like a relax. Oh, we don't have to. And the thing is, like the night before, we were trying to get dinner with this person. I don't remember his name right now. It doesn't matter. And he kind of backed off, but he backed off in a weird way because he didn't say he was not going with us. He just disappeared. The next day, when we were relaxed, as soon as we relaxed, as soon as we felt powerful, like this amazing doctor, all these people start coming into our table because we become this magnet.
Where we were grounded, like I was saying, was seeped into the ground, and then all of a sudden the world came to us, and we had this incredible conversation, and it was like these sparks were igniting and all this inspiration emerged, and it was this incredible connection where it felt like somebody that I'm going to know for many years. Out of all this earlier moments of groping, trying to find ourselves, trying to be accepted, and suddenly there was this like presence that emerged, and we just had this breakthrough. And
that was orgasmic.
Yeah, exactly.
That was like, I was so happy because actually that was the person that I learned the most other than the trainer this weekend, because there was so much wisdom that I learned, exactly what I needed for what I'm doing now. But when I met Dylan, can I share that story? Because that's such an awesome story. I love this man right here, and I love it as a brother, as a professional, in so many ways. Like when I say I love, it's not like it's love you because you are a beautiful being, and I see your light, and I recognize that when I saw you at the first time. So we were doing the Greater Speaker training, and we were learning that day how to be in your power, right?
This trainer, Bo Eason, was teaching us how to really own our strength and own our power. And he talks about the way that you hold yourself and the way that you stand and the way that your posture is speaks more than any words that you could give out.
Hi, Stephen.
And so as he was teaching us this, he was talking about how men tend to stand with their arms crossed and how closed off that is.
No, we don't move enough, right?
We don't move enough.
People don't move enough.
Or their hands are in their pockets and you're kind of covering yourself over and a little shy. And he talked about standing up tall and owning yourself and owning your full space that you need as a man in your body and really holding yourself and being proud of who you are. And I've been practicing this throughout the whole day since learning this tool. And I kept finding myself, my hands would go in my pockets and I'd pull them out. I'm like, no. Own your body, own your strength. So as the evening's coming to a close and a friend of mine and I are walking down the hallway.
So he doesn't know, I don't know his training, I don't know anything, I just see this man. I was like, and I told my friend, oh my God. Like, I said, who's that guy? He's fully, it's not just he's handsome, but he was fully in his power. Like he was walking with a presence that made me feel safe, made me feel seen, made me feel, just that he gave that confidence that yet safety at the same time. It's like, this is somebody that is in integrity, I can trust this person, I can see through. And so much so that I said, wow, you are embodying that power. I don't remember exactly what are the words that I said, but you are that man, like Bo, like Bo was teaching us to be, because he was all day in this thing. And it started a beautiful friendship.
You know, and the real lesson about that is not, well, don't put your hands in your pockets. I mean, that could be a lesson. It's not the lesson I'm trying to get across here. But it's really that in a lot of cases, you're seeking that acceptance and you're seeking being invited in, but you're doing it in a way that is pushing people away. And when instead you sort of drop into your center and drop into who you are, like what happened at the dinner with you guys, when you stop trying to pull together this conversation and stop trying and instead just showed up. And it's that authentic self again. When you're not trying, you're just being, and it's who you are. Yes, I had learned some tools to help me in that, but that's the thing. There are tools that can help you be more authentic, to find your authentic voice and your authentic smile and to be yourself in all situations.
this is so powerful because the way you talk to yourself, the way you frame yourself, the way you're treating yourself, how much you're spending time giving love to yourself and taking good care of yourself. I have this thing on my phone that says today at 10 a.m. every day says 3 actions to love yourself today. And every time that thing's punched in, I put 3 things. What am I going to do? Sometimes I do a little extra yoga. I take a bath, but I plan on it.
Right.
And it's exciting to me, even if it's 3-5 minutes things, but it's for me, and it's not going to the gym. It's nothing that is like something that I have to do. It's just a self-love thing. And because I give myself that love and that care, I feel like I love myself. So when I walk around people, I feel more powerful because I love who I am, because I'm giving myself love and not coming to people with that, I need your love.
Right. Like,
have you ever met people like that?
Yeah.
Like that they come like they're needy of love, and then it's all of a
Right.
sudden it's yucky to be around
Yeah,
them.
exactly. I think the overall context or theme of this conversation is about love. It's about giving yourself the love that you need, because when you bring love to those disowned parts of who you are, it's like you shine this light and it becomes okay. And even the parts of yourself that you know you have to work on, it's not about being perfect. It's about not disowning or pushing away. It's about loving and bringing in. And as you do that and you look at the parts of yourself, and Dylan, you know, you've been doing this challenge, 60 days of self-love every day, a minute of self-love. He does a Facebook Live. And tell us a little bit about what that has done for you and what kind of results have emerged from that experience.
You know, I had found that I had these negative voices in my head, and I'm sure that you've all had these voices where they say, you're not attractive, you're not wanted, you're not desirable, you're not smart. They're the things that we keep saying, and we tend to take them in as true, as if these are factual, evidential pieces of ourselves. But in reality, they're just things that we've heard other people say to us, and we own them. Oh, he says I'm not good looking. I must not be good looking. He says I'm not smart. I must not be smart. And as I started to realize all of these pieces of myself that are coming together, this self-love that's taking it to the next level, I suddenly realized that the voices inside my head were doing me a disservice. So what I've been doing, I made a conscious decision to, for 66 days, I've learned that it takes 66 days for a habit to really get cemented in. So for 66 days in a row, I'm going to spend at least a minute, at least 60 seconds loving myself. And it can look as simple as coming out of the shower and looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I'm attractive, I'm powerful, I'm successful, I'm wanted, I'm desirable, I love myself, I'm proud of myself. And you start to pour these positive self-images into your head. And the more you do that and the more consistently you build that positive self-image, the more it prevents the negative words that we've been living with our whole lives from gaining traction. Because as I was at this event, and I've long ago been thinking about myself as unattractive, I'm not a good dancer, I'm not wanted, nobody wants me to have a conversation with them. Those voices are really quiet now, because instead I'm showing up in the morning and I'm telling myself what I'm worth and what my value is, and I don't need you to validate me, because I am taking care of myself and taking myself to that next level. So when I walk into this room in this crowd, the most amazing thing happens is that people's eyes light up and they want to be a part of the experience that I'm bringing, the energy that I'm bringing, and it's because I'm not begging for permission to be a part of this conversation. I'm not saying, oh, please, won't you like me? Won't you talk to me? Give me a hug and smile at me. I'm showing up as loving myself. And I'm coming with this inner glow of, I know what I bring to the table. I know who I am, and I know that I am enough, and I am desirable.
And that presence,
if only by
fills
myself.
Up. That presence that fills up a room, and it feels good to be around. It's just almost good enough just to be in that presence.
And the funny thing is, the people who most want love and most want to be accepted and brought into the conversation, those are the people that are perceived as needy, because they want something from you that they don't have for themselves. I need you to tell me I'm a good person. I need you to tell me what a good dancer I am, or please tell me I dress nice. But if you look in the mirror on yourself and you say, you know what? I'm looking good today, and I've got this vibe, and I know I'm going to have an amazing day, and I'm going to bring light to the people around me. What kind of difference? What's a more attractive person or experience to have, someone who is already on fire with themselves and wants to share it, or someone who wants you to reflect back that they're worthwhile.
And that's a way of being, really.
It's a practice, really. It can be a way of being. It can become a way of being. But I think what I'm really learning from you, and I'm really grateful of this 60-day challenge that you've been doing, and the results are showing in just the way you showed up, and it was palpable. I mean, there were 800 people at this event, and watching my brother in this event, it was clear that he was of a different order, if you will, from the average individual there, and the reactions that his presence brought were palpable. You could see it. There wasn't any doubt that this self-work, this practice that he's implemented was working. And so I think ultimately it can be a way of being, but it needs to be implemented. It needs to be something that you take as seriously as going to the gym. It's so important in this day and age.
Take your heart to the gym.
Take your heart to the gym.
Take your heart to the gym.
Take your heart to the gym. Exactly.
No, workout.
We're living in this
I
time
love you,
where people are hurting and people are needing and people are feeling disconnected from all kinds of things, and it's becoming rampant as we watch the news and we watch all the challenges in the world. It becomes even more disconnection, and even better time now more than ever for you to start the practice and for all of us to practice being in love with ourselves and building up our own self-confidence and belief, not from the outside, not from what I got from you, but from what I gave to me. Super powerful.
And you think about all the time and energy and effort that we're spending in fear. Every time you're watching the news, you're going to commit hours of your day to watching the news. I don't either, but many of us do. And there's, whether you're putting your time into Facebook, you're putting your time into all of this external thing that in most cases breeds resentment and envy and fear and anger and separation. What I keep saying in the posts that I've been doing is there's 1,440 minutes every day. Aren't you worth giving yourself love in one of those? Just one. And if you did it every day, what kind of change would it have on you? And don't do it because it's this selfish thing like, I need my own love. Think about what you do when you love yourself and you give other people the permission to love themselves. Think about the change that could happen on this world if every minute that people spend watching the news and going through Facebook and feeling envious of their friends, if instead every minute of that you spent loving yourself, and that glow that you set on fire inside yourself gave permission to someone you love and care about to love themselves a little bit more, or to take themselves to another level.
So I challenge you to write 3 sentences about how much you love yourself in this post. When you see it, when you watch it, just write 3 things you love about yourself. Now, I think this self-love is awesome, and it's the foundation, but then there is, am I living my purpose? Am I doing the things I'm supposed to do in my life? Or I am just going with the flow and feeling apathic, feeling tired, feeling less motivated because I don't have the courage to say no for what I don't want? Because what I see a lot in my office is people are coming, and they're coming with this place of deep pain, but because things are okay. I actually prefer when I hate saying that, but when something drastic happens, then people go and make a change. But if things are just okay and settle, it's harder to comfortable. It's hard to tap into what is stealing life from them. So yes, I have all these practices of sexual energy, moving it to bring you more to your power and all of that. But the main thing is like when you're doing what you want to do in life. Are you doing what you want to do in life? And a lot of people feel like they're not allowed, and it takes a simple, for a busy mom, I can think like, I remember like when I was married, asking my husband, say, honey, I need 15 minutes for me right now. Can you handle the kids for 15 minutes? I'm going to lay down, and I'm going to become a way better person when I lay down for 15 minutes. And people don't feel allowed to ask for what they want, or to go get what they want. They feel like they have to be there.
And this is still connected to self-love because you may not feel worthy of asking for what you want. Why do I deserve this?
Right.
But it's part of being out of alignment with who you are, and part of not really owning that authentic power in who you are. And so the question that comes up is really about, how do you know when you're on purpose? How do you know what you need and what you want and what you can ask for?
When you feel alive and vibrant. When you wake up and when you go to sleep and your mind is not wandering. If you're going to sleep and you can't sleep because your mind, but you might not go to sleep. We might not sleep tonight because we're too excited about our projects and all the courses and books that we want to write and everything. But that's a different thing. I mean, when you are having a lot of looping thoughts, and what are looping thoughts? Looping thoughts are those thoughts that keep running in your mind over and over again. And you might think about it in the morning, and you think it again in the afternoon, and
are
you
they
think it again.
Positive thoughts or are they negative thoughts?
They're mostly worries, right? So what I invite you to do is write down all your looping thoughts. Those thoughts, you have them every day. How am I going to pay for this? Oh, I gained weight. It's all these little worries. It's like a nagging, and it keeps coming back. They literally keep going like this, like like you see in the cartoons, the little. So what I invite you to do, one solution for that, if you feel like you're having a lot of looping thoughts, you can just sit down and say, I'm going to write all these things, and you spend 30 minutes, 1 hour, and just get them out of your head into that paper. And I had a friend teaching me this, and the first time I did this, I felt like I took 10 pounds out of my shoulders because there was a moment that I was going through a lounge. I was just worried about so many things, right? But there's one more piece about that. So write it all down. That will make you happy. Now, I heard this monk. This is so cute. I forgot his name, but he's just like, so he said, do you have a problem in life? Do you have a solution for the problem? Why worry? And then he goes again, do you have a problem in life? You don't have a solution for the problem? Why worry? You do not have a problem in life? Why worry? So in other words, and then he ends and he says, smile. Smile and remember, right? Yeah, so we go back to that, smiling and feeling grateful and feeling happy. We always have something to smile about, even if it's just because you're breathing, even if it's just because you're alive.
So let's bring this all together. Ultimately, what we're talking about on the first level is self-love, right? Being able to love yourself and not needing that love from the outside world, but to give it to yourself. And when you give yourself that love, what it means is that you actually can love other people more. And when you can love other people more, you can create your purpose. Your purpose is always going to be about how you achieve your ultimate goals, but also it's about how you help the world, right? So the first step in achieving or going for and creating your purpose is that self-love. And from there, as we go upon saying, I have permission to dream big, to become who I am, we're going to have these self-talk, these thoughts, these loops that come up and they keep going and they keep going. And what we have to do is we have to be the kind of person that says, that isn't who I am. We have to keep retraining ourselves. And as we do that, we get more and more aligned. And more aligned means that we start to show up more and more fully as who we are, going towards our dreams, going towards our goals with love about our own aspirations and about how we're going to change the world, and go for it. Because you know what? You have a purpose. You have something that you are meant to do. And it's inside of you and it's calling you from every angle, and the sparkles are igniting from everywhere. And so what you want to do is you want to listen to those sparkles, because those sparkles are telling you where to go. But if you're caught up in all your self-talk and all this stuff, you're blocked from being able to hear it.
So the self-talk, being caught up, like today there was 2 women in there. They were crying. They just like, they were literally walking around like around 800 people, and they were like, and I said, come back to your center. Take a break. Like there's something like in Tantra we have a practice that said, get off it. And yes, the emotion, we can feel it, and but you can also overfeel it.
Right,
there's a place where you overdo on the crying, overdo on the being overwhelmed.
And there's a place where that safe spot that you've got inside yourself, whatever the emotion you're feeling is, whether it's extreme sadness or whether it's anger or whether it's fear, whatever those emotions are, you don't want to merge with them. You don't want to become fear. You want to become sadness, become anger, because we are not the emotions that we're feeling. The emotions are the river. We're in a boat, and we can ride that boat along that river. Take that ride, and yes, the river's a little bumpy, or gee, the river's a little fast, or it's a little slow. But if you're just in the boat, feeling the way along that river, suddenly you're not inside of it yourself, and you're not drowning, you're just riding it. Because those emotions, they're going to come in and they're going to settle, and you can either own them and take them and put them into your heart, or you can just let them right back out and become like Swiss cheese, where they come in and they just right through the holes, flow right through you, and you're able to feel them. You're not avoiding them. You're not blocking. I don't feel that. That's not me. That's not me.
Swiss cheese.
You're taking them in, and you're breathing your way through them, and then releasing them.
And there is a place to feel and release and let go, and there's a place to, like, how quickly can I come back to love? Because we're only a fear and love. There's only two emotions, two basic emotions. Fear, love. But how quickly can I come back to love? And I have this commitment to myself. And I say it to couples too. Like, how quickly can you come back to love? Because sometimes your partner is like, oh, trigger is like, hey babe, how quickly can you come back to love? How quickly can you shake it off? And then another thing is like, alignment. I know what alignment feels like. I know what feeling centered and powerful feels like. So when I'm in those places, I take deep breaths. I enjoy it. And I feel it. And then so when I don't feel it, I remember a moment that I felt that. And I go back and I let that vibration, I have goosebumps. I let that vibration come through every cell of my being. And I invite that feeling in again.
So what is the comments that you want them to put? And we've got to wrap this up because I believe we have a plane to catch pretty soon here.
That's true.
What is it you want
I want to keep them here. That's all. Like, I want to keep these guys, like, because I miss my brothers too, and their brothers, and I feel like I'm a sister here. It's just being wonderful. Mm-hmm. So what do I want them to do? I want you to learn to come back to love as quick as you can, to come back to your center. And it's really a command. It's like you demand yourself to be that presence. If you have to go on a stage or if you have to go to a meeting, you will demand that presence. If your child is falling down and you're like, oh, I'm sad, you're not going to say, I'm sad, I cannot pick up my child falling. You're going to pick them up. You're going to do something. So that same demand, you make that demand to yourself. To not stay stuck. Nityananda said, if you cry for too long when something bad happened, you imprint that emotion, that trauma even deeper into your being. Now, this is serious. There's a moment to let go of the crying and of the pain. Come back to your center, come back to love.
So we've talked about a bunch of things on this post. We've talked about self-love and kind of posting a couple of things that you could do to express your self-love for yourself. Mm-hmm. We've talked a little bit about this returning to love, and maybe you've got some great tools that you can put in about how do you snap back to love when you're upset or sad or scared. What is the trigger for you? And there was one other thing that we talked about.
Purpose.
Purpose. Do you know what your purpose is? If you don't, what are some steps that you could take to get yourself closer to it? And if you do know your purpose, I'd love it if you put it in the comment section here, because there are people that may read that comment and go, oh my God, that's my purpose too. You might find that you give somebody else the purpose that they have in their lives, and then the two of you are connected because you're serving together for the same purpose.
Your purpose might be that little voice that you haven't been hearing. Your purpose might be saying, might be making you sad right now because you're not giving it voice. And it's your dreams, giving voice to your dreams, creating a space every day, making some time every day to follow your dreams and go get what you want in life.
I think that's a good place for us to wrap it.
Wrap it up.
Again, my name is Sean. This is my brother.
I'm Dylan Stewart.
And you know this one.
The divine Kika, the one and only, and my little brothers here. I love you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for watching.
Thank you guys.
We'll see you on the next one.
See you next time.